Welcome back, ghouls and ghoulettes. How have you been this fine weekend? And Lady Mel, how have you been?
I miss Jess. I'm doing just fine, even better now that I'm here with you and all of our wonderful listeners. I've been doing all right. How about yourself?
I've been doing pretty good.
That good, huh, girl?
Well, last night was awesome. Don't you just love the fact when your spouse is just like wakes up in the middle of sleep, it's like, I need you. And you're like, okay, awesome, bet. Then they wake up in the morning all scandalized, like, oh, you took advantage of me.
Sir, you asked politely, and I answered. We can't be talking about dirty Jersey without talking a little dirty.
And Lady Melanie is correct. We are hitting up and moving out of Florida into...
That's right. We are going back home for me, which is the proud state of New Jersey, to talk about one of its most well-known residents, not named John Bon Jovi or Bruce Springsteen. That's right. We're talking about the Jersey Devil.
So stay tuned, listeners, right here at Where the Ghoulies Spill the Tea. So, Lady Mel,
Yes.
give me a...
I mean, it's certainly a place. It is a place that I was born. I was born in scenic Bayonne, New Jersey, which is lovingly referred to as a pimple on God's ass in the movie Men of Honor starring Robert De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr. That is, in fact, a direct quote from the movie.
Dear Lords.
Now, I can neither confirm nor deny that God's ass is located in New Jersey, nor that, Bayonne is a pimple on it. But Bayonne has a bit of a reputation in New Jersey for being the lesser of the trio of Bayonne, Jersey City, and Hoboken, which is like on the strip of the peninsula within the peninsula, across the Hudson River from New York City.
Dear Lord. You have just lost me. Hopefully I'll put up a map about that.
It's certainly a place. I basically grew up in the shadow of skyscrapers.
Holy cow.
Yeah, no, my high school was, within visual distance of New York City. And for those of you keeping track at home, I started high school in the fall of 2001, so that got exciting real fast.
Ooh.
But yeah, no, all that aside, it was pretty fantastic growing up in Jersey, and we are the butt of many jokes, but I happen to think it gives us character, gives us a bit of a tough skin, a bit of an attitude, and our unofficial state motto is only the strong survive.
Yeah, look at what Jersey Shore did.
So yes, as mentioned before, it is a home of Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen, the best pizza in the States, as I've said before, and I will say again, New York can fight me on this, and today's cryptid, the Jersey Devil.
Ooh, okay. I am excited to hear this.
So the Jersey Devil has appeared in media, and the most recent appearance would be an episode of What We Do in the Shadows.
Ooh.
So this is a fun episode called The Pine Barrens, which follows Nandor, Laszlo, and Colin Robinson on a little misadventure into the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. Now, for those of you who have somehow not seen What We Do in the Shadows or haven't begun that particular journey yet, it is probably some of the best vampire representation on television outside of Interview with a Vampire. And, it just follows this coven of vampires in their misadventures trying to, run the world, also known as Staten Island. So they cross over into Jersey, and their human friend Sean tries to scare them with the Jersey Devil. Only the vampires claim that, they made the Jersey Devil up to scare humans. Just to keep humans out of the Pine Barrens when they were dropping bodies there.
Dear Lord.
Until, of course, the Jersey Devil actually shows up.
No.
And what ensues is probably one of the funniest fight scenes I've seen. Just on film, on television, ever. If only because they do, in fact, reference New Jersey's unofficial... It's not very technically... No, it's not the State of the Union. National anthem. If states had national anthems, New Jersey's would be Living on a Prayer by John Bon Jovi. And it was used as a joke within that entire sequence, which I personally love. I also used it as a plot point in a book I wrote many years ago, but I can pitch that another time. So, the Jersey Devil was very real for the Staten Island Vampire Coven, and not something they made up and forgot about. It did, in fact, hurt them. So, speaking of things that were real and can hurt you, pregnancy. The Jersey Devil starts the way I would say all of us do, being brought into the world at the end of a pregnancy. Only one of us has had a baby. Jess,
Yeah.
share what you feel comfortable sharing about the miracle of birth.
Depending if you get an epidural or not,
Ooh-wee.
the class of pain you'll be going through and how your body is dealing with the contractions. I know when my labor went into full, like, okay, we gotta push now. It took me an hour and 30 minutes to push out my baby girl. And I know midway through, it did not feel like an hour and 30 minutes. It legitimately felt like 20 minutes. But I was going in and out of it. Like, I was losing conscious.
Mercy me. And if I'm not mistaken, you had a soundtrack to said birth, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Any of your favorite hit songs on that soundtrack you'd like to share with our listeners?
Of course. Let me bring up that soundtrack. Mind you, my birth took the length of my soundtrack, which was an hour and 45 minutes. I'm saying that it's an hour and 30 minutes because the extra 15 minutes was delivering the placenta.
Ooh-wee.
For those that have not been mothers or expecting mothers and have not been told or have not been researched, you'd not only give birth to your baby after your baby is born, you also push out the placenta.
You want to make sure you evict everybody in the house.
Yes.
It's not good to leave it in there. That's how you get sepsis.
Speaking of sepsis, I did have that.
Girly pop.
We had Soda Pop from Sasha Boys.
Hey.
Push It by Salt and Pepper. Timber, Pitbull and Kesha. Down with the Sickness with Disturbed. Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. I Want to Be Sedated by the Romanos. Oh, I hope I said that.
I think it's the Ramones.
The Ramones.
I got you.
Under Pressure by Queen and David Bowie. Should I Stay or Should I Go? The Clash. I'm Coming Out, Diana Ross. All Star by Smash Mouth. Dancing Queen by ABBA. Let's Get It Started, Black Eyed Peas. Ice Ice Baby, which, fun fact, my baby was born to Ice Ice Baby.
Oh my goodness.
She popped out right there.
Stop, collaborate, and listen.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Aw.
Pump It. Mambo Number 5. Smooth Criminal. I'm Still Standing. Staying Alive. Get Low, which this was a bagger. My nurses were chiming out with me.
Hey.
Eye of the Tiger. Dear Theodosia. My Humps. Oops, I Did It Again. Run the World Girls. Where Have You Been? And Temperature by Sean Paul. And this is a song that actually got my nurses to start dancing and jamming out.
Love that. No, look, Girly Pop came in with joy and love, which is sadly not exactly how this story is going to go. So before I start with our tale, that was all with one baby. I remember talking to you after, like, I want to say the day or two after, like, I came to visit the hospital, and you were like, I don't think I can do this again.
Yep.
And you don't have to change your mind. Mother Leeds did that 13 times.
Holy, oh lords.
And that's where we get into part 1. Surprise! It's a demon. So the central figure in our story, Mother Leeds, had to do that 13 times, with that last one allegedly being the most famous cryptid to come out of New Jersey until Jay and Silent Bob. The legend has it that in 1735, so before the Revolution, we were straight up colonial Williamsburg, but Jersey. A Pines resident known as Mother Leeds found herself pregnant for, you guessed it, the lucky 13th time. Now, for the record, Leeds is the name of one of New Jersey's earliest settlers, and many descendants of the Leeds family can still be found throughout New Jersey to this day. Mother Leeds was not living a wealthy lifestyle by any means. Her husband was a drunkard who made few efforts to provide for his wife and 12 other children.
Oh, so they were still alive.
Oh yeah, no, they were blessed with an abundance of healthy children. They were all alive.
Perfect. They didn't get yellow fever.
No, but she was exasperated upon learning of a 13th child. She raised her hands to the heavens and proclaimed, "Let this one be a devil."
Well, she got her wish, apparently, right?
Mother Leeds went into labor a few months later on a tumultuously stormy night, no longer mindful of the curse she had uttered previously regarding her unborn child. Her children and husband huddled together in one room of their Leeds Point home, while local midwives gathered to deliver the baby in another. By all accounts, the birth went routinely, and the 13th Leeds child was a seemingly normal baby boy.
Seemingly?
Mm-hmm. Because within minutes, Mother Leeds' unholy wish of months before began to come to fruition. The baby started to change and metamorphosed right before her very eyes. Within moments, it transformed from a beautiful newborn baby into a hideous creature unlike anything the world had ever seen.
Are we sure she's just not going through postpartum depression at this point?
I mean, that is probably the kind of thing that would have gotten her lobotomized, so she may not have admitted it if that were the case.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Also, I've seen pictures of newborn babies. I've also seen newborn babies, and they do look like little aliens.
They do. They do.
There are little aliens, and we love them, but they do look like little aliens. The wailing infant began growing at an incredible rate. It sprouted horns from the top of its head, and talon-like claws tore through the tips of its fingers. Leathery, bat-like wings unfurled from its back, and hair and feathers sprouted all over the child's body. Its eyes began glowing bright red as they grew larger in the monster's gnarled and snarling face. The creature savagely attacked its own mother, killing her, then turned its attention to the rest of the horrified onlookers who witnessed its tempestuous transformation. It flew at them, clawing and biting, voicing unearthly shrieks the entire time. It tore the midwives limb from limb, maiming some and killing others. The monster then knocked down the door to the next room where its own father and siblings cowered in fear and attacked them all, killing as many as it could. Those who survived to tell the tale then watched in horror as the rotten beast sprinted to the chimney and flew up it, destroying it on the way and leaving a pile of rubble in its wake. The creature then made good its escape into the darkness and desolation of the Pine Barrens, where it has lived ever since. To this day, the creature, known varyingly as both the Leeds Devil and the Jersey Devil, claims the Pines as its own and terrorizes any who are unfortunate enough to encounter it. So, yeah, turns out if you say, hey, maybe this next one be a devil, that might happen. Whoops.
So in other words, what you're telling me, if I decide to have another child, I should not curse up at the heavens and demand that that child be a devil.
And definitely not in the Pine Barrens.
Noted.
So you know what? We've got one, plus one to being in Florida. You're not going to have another Pine Barren devil if you have a kid down here.
Yep. We'll have the Florida devil instead.
The swamp devil.
Yep.
Not to be confused with the skunk ape, which is a whole other thing.
Oh, we'll cover that one in a different episode.
And whatever Bigfoot and Bigfoot adjacent creatures we do.
Mm-hmm.
So, this next part is called The Devil in the Details. Before the early 1900s, the Jersey Devil was referred to as the Leeds Devil, or the Devil of Leeds, either in connection with the local Leeds family or the eponymous Leeds Point in South Jersey. For the record, speaking of lore, there is an entire debate on what constitutes North, Central, and South Jersey.
You gotta tell me that lore.
So Eddie refers to Northern Jersey as the New York distortion zone because he just picks up a lot of influences from New York City. And South Jersey is the Philly distortion zone because of just how it picks up a lot of Philadelphia. But the thing is, like, that's a really reductive way to see New Jersey because you have, the North, which is more industrial, lots of family, lots of, like, blue-collar working class, and then the richy riches up in Bergen County. And then South Jersey has, like, the farms, and that's where all the shore and the beach towns are. And then you have kind of the Central.
Yes.
But the thing is, a lot of people in Jersey debate that the Central even exists. They're like, you know what? In the middle, there's Princeton and Trenton. Up north of that is north, up down south of that is south. And then a bunch of folks in that area are like, but we have our own identity. We have our own university. It's Rutgers. See, it's over there. It's where everybody has the big R that looks like we're from Team Rocket, but really it's just our university symbol.
So they're out here stealing Pokemon is what you're telling me.
I'm pretty sure that's a field of study at Rutgers University. Yeah, it took me too long driving around East Brunswick to be like, man, East Brunswick and New Brunswick, they're really into Pokemon, but only Team Rocket. It took me too long to realize that was Rutgers, man.
Lords.
Oh, I will. Boy, am I going to provide pictures of both the delineation of New Jersey and the Rutgers R. Corporate will ask you to find the difference between those two pictures, and I dare you listeners to find it because I couldn't.
There is no difference.
But all of that is to say that Jersey has its history, and Jersey has its influential people throughout its history, and we're going to get into the Leeds family. Mother Leeds has been identified by some as the real-life Deborah Leeds, on the grounds that Deborah Leeds' husband, Japhet Leeds, named 12 children in the will he wrote during 1736, which is compatible with the legend. Deborah and Japhet Leeds also lived in Leeds Point, of what is now Atlantic County, New Jersey, which is commonly the location of the Jersey Devil story. Not to be confused with Atlantic City. You'll find a whole lot of other devils there for completely different reasons. We're talking about Atlantic County. Brian Riegel, a historian of science at Kean University, also in New Jersey, theorizes that the story of Mother Leeds, rather than being based on a single historical person alone, originated from the reputation of the local prominent Leeds family in the southern portion of the colonial-era province of New Jersey, where religious political disputes became the subject of folklore and gossip among the local population.
Gossip?
Oh, we were going to start spilling a lot of tea here. So, listeners, you notice that, I have a bit of an aesthetic. The Leeds family could have been considered like the Addams family of their day. And when you are like the Addams family or the Munsters in a town of normies, they're going to talk about you in a certain way, and we'll get to why that is. So, Regal contends that folk legends concerning these historical disputes evolved through the years and ultimately resulted in the modern popular legend of the Jersey Devil during the early 20th century. Regal contends that colonial-era political intrigue involving early New Jersey politicians, Benjamin Franklin, and Franklin's rival Almanack publisher, Daniel Leeds, resulted in the Leeds family being described as monsters. And it was Daniel Leeds' negative description as the Leeds Devil, rather than any creature, that created the legend of the Jersey Devil.
So all I'm hearing is that slander was being shot around.
Yeah, the Jersey Devil exists because Ben Franklin had beef with one specific guy.
Oh, Lord. Men.
Harumph. Much like the Mother Leeds of the Jersey Devil myth, Daniel Leeds' third wife had given birth to 9 children, a large number of children even for the time. Leeds' second wife and first daughter had both died during childbirth. Leeds and his family were prominent in the South Jersey and Pine Barrens area. Yes.
I just want to say that the way that you said Leeds, second wife and first daughter had both died. Before you said that, the moment you said his second wife and first daughter, I'm like, did this man marry his old goddamn daughter?
Girl, it's not Crusader Kings. That you can actually do in Crusader Kings. Don't do that in real life. Keep it to Crusader Kings, you weirdos.
We do not condone incest.
Yeah,
Please
no.
do not have incestual relationships with your family members.
Don't do drugs and don't do incest. I don't understand why these have to be disclaimers, and yet here we find ourselves. So, as a royal surveyor with strong allegiance to the British crown, that's problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Leeds had surveyed and acquired land in the Egg Harbor area, located within the Pine Barrens. Leeds' sons and family inherited the land, and it is now known as Leeds Point, one of the areas in the Pine Barrens currently most associated with the Jersey Devil legend and alleged Jersey Devil sightings. Starting in the 17th century, English Quakers established settlements in southern Jersey, the region in which the Pine Barrens are located. Daniel Leeds, a Quaker and a prominent figure in pre-revolutionary colonial southern New Jersey, was ostracized by his Quaker congregation after publishing almanacs in 1687 containing astrological symbols and writings. Leeds' fellow Quakers deemed the astrology in these almanacs as too pagan or blasphemous, and the almanacs were censored and destroyed by the local Quaker community. So, fun fact, I used to teach in a Quaker school. Many years ago, and I've learned a lot about Quaker faith during that time. And, in the scale of, ornate to simple, Quakers are like, if you had to go with, like, say, a spectrum of fancy in churches, with, like, Eastern Orthodox and Catholic on, like, one end, like, being ornate with, like, these gorgeous cathedrals and these mosaics, Quakerism would be at the other end. Because you walk in to the meeting house, and it's usually very plain. Like, there's no decoration. It's just pews facing one another, and you sit. And during meeting for worship, if you feel moved to speak, if the Spirit enters you and moves you to speak, you stand up and speak to the congregation.
Uh-huh.
So it's not very, there's not a lot of ritualism in practice. It's just, like, I personally, when I was teaching in that school, I adored every minute of it. I really... Like, that started a lot of my own spiritual journey, honestly enough, weirdly enough. Like, yes, I look spoopy and witchy because I am, but I was able to start embracing that by, sitting in the meeting house and reflecting and, meditating, doing all that fun stuff. And I can also see why that, someone doing woo-woo stuff at this time would hit differently, especially after Salem.
No, yeah, and I was about to say, like, from all of what I'm getting here is that Mr. Leeds was most likely a horoscope girly.
Yep, I think Mr. Leeds, at least Daniel Leeds of the Leeds family, it would be cool to have him as a guest, but we would have to consult the Luigi board for that one.
I'll prep it.
So, yeah. In response to And despite this censorship, Leeds continued to publish even more esoteric astrological Christian writings and became increasingly fascinated with Christian occultism, Christian mysticism, cosmology, demonology and angelology, and natural magic. Bro, this man's getting the Vivzy Pop treatment.
You know what? Yeah, and I also see a lot of Ed Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And the way Ed Warren started.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if he was in Italy writing, the Inferno and Purgatorio and Paradiso, it'd have gone completely different for him. In the 1690s, after his almanacks and writings were further censored as blasphemous or heretical by the Philadelphia Quaker meeting, so because of my history, I know that that's the meeting. Like, Quakerism doesn't have a pope. Like, they're very big on, equity as one of their pillars of faith. So they don't really believe in having a massive hierarchy the way, Catholicism does. But the Philadelphia meeting is one of the establishing meetings. And, if we were to have a pope, he'd probably come from there in Quakerism is what I'm saying. So that's when that meeting says, hey, don't do that, you don't do that. Unless you're Leeds, because Leeds continued to dispute with the Quaker community and converted to Anglicanism and published anti-Quaker tracts criticizing Quaker theology and accusing Quakers of being anti-monarchists. To be fair, he was kind of right about that part. So yeah, basically, it's American Revolution. So loyalists to the crown and, pre-revolutionaries are already going at it. So we're going to go a little bit further. My question to you was, I'm not sure if it got researched. Yeah. Because I know we're focusing on the Jersey Devil. What is the religion he converted into, the angel? So Anglicanism is how much do you want to know about Henry VIII? Oh. It's his religion. Oh. It's basically the Church of England. It's the religion he started so he could get divorced without asking the Pope for permission. We're Catholic, but the king/queen is the Pope, not the Pope. Ah, okay, understandable. Yep. Which is also why, the Leeds family having loyalty to the crown makes sense, because to go against the crown means to then be against their new chosen religion at that time, which is, no bueno. That said, that is basically where the Leeds family's beef began with the revolutionaries, because then we're going to go further into Titan Leeds, who is Daniel Leeds' son. Because what does he do? He inherits his father's almanac business, which continued to use astrological content and eventually competed with Benjamin Franklin's popular Poor Richard's Almanack. Now, Poor Richard's Almanack is, I want to say, and don't quote me on this part I didn't actually research, and I'm sure my historian husband will correct me, and he's allowed to. But Poor Richard's Almanack was the, how-to guide for everything back in the day. And I dare say it's still published to this day. So it is a long-running publication. And, it's meant to help folks who work in agriculture and in farming understand what kind of year they're going to have so they can plan accordingly. Oh, that is actually really smart and very... Benjamin Franklin was good at two things: coming up with really good ideas for the long term and banging French women. 3. Oh, what was the third one? Being petty. You know what? That tracks. That absolutely tracks. So yeah, the competition between the two men intensified when, in 1733, Franklin satirically used astrology in his almanac to predict Titan Leeds' death in October of that same year. So yeah, there's the pettiness. You ever hate somebody so much that they predict their death? So yeah, though Franklin's prediction was intended as a joke at his competitor's expense and a means to boost almanac sales, Titan Leeds was, dare I say, offended, publishing a public admonition of Franklin as a fool and a liar. So, Franklin being, a founding father, a man of, dignity, very distinguished, let that go. I'm lying. No, he didn't. Wait, did Titan actually die in October of that year? He did not. No. So, in a published response, Franklin mocked Titan Leeds' outrage and humorously suggested that, in fact, Titan Leeds had died in accordance with the earlier prediction and was writing as a ghost. Resurrected from the grave to haunt and torment Franklin specifically. Franklin continued to jokingly refer to Titan Leeds as a ghost, even after his actual death in 1738. Well then. Yep. So Daniel Leeds' blasphemous and occultist reputation and his pro-monarchy stance in the largely anti-monarchist colonial South of New Jersey, combined with Benjamin Franklin's later continuous depiction of his son Titan Leeds as a ghost, may have originated or so contributed to the local folk legend of the Leeds Devil lurking in the Pine Barrens.
So in other words, we had a very, very weird way of doing telephone and everything got misconstrued and it's just like, I'm not going to correct that rumor or I'm not going to correct this. And then it just became fact.
And there's just a lot of symbology too, because if you think about the 13 children, right? How many colonies were there originally in the States?
13.
Exactly. So it's seen as like a kind of allegorical thing. That said, I will talk about the Leeds family crest because you'll notice something about the Leeds family crest. So in 1728, Titan Leeds, before his fake death and real death, began to include the Leeds family crest on the masthead of his almanacs. The Leeds family crest depicted a wyvern, which is a bat-winged dragon-like legendary creature that stands upright on 2 clawed feet. Regal notes that the wyvern on the Leeds family crest is reminiscent of popular descriptions of the Jersey Devil. The inclusion of this family crest on Leeds' almanacs may have further contributed to the Leeds family's poor reputation among locals and possibly influenced the popular descriptions of the Leeds Devil. Fearsome appearance of the crest's wyvern and the increasing animosity among local South Jersey residents towards royalty, aristocracy, and nobility with whom family crests were associated may have helped facilitate the legend of the Leeds Devil and the association of the Leeds family with devils and monsters.
So in other words, what I'm also understanding with this is the Leeds family, a portion of them could have probably been murdered by the townsfolk and then they just said, no, it was the Leeds Devil that killed them.
Perhaps. Ultimately, what I'm getting from the history of the Leeds family itself is that they were backing the wrong horse when it came to the American Revolution, and the rest of the state never let that family forget it. So yes, even though they were pretty influential and still have things named after them, it's like, you still backed the wrong horse in a really important race, and we're never going to forgive you for that.
So in other words, we were still also being as petty as Benjamin.
Basically, with fewer inventions, less electricity.
Noted.
So it is very possible that New Jersey's very own Addams family and their generational love of the macabre is what ended up inspiring this cryptid. That said, it doesn't explain the claims of sightings made by those seeking it in the Pines. And here's where we get to part 3, the thing in the Pines. So in the 18th and 19th centuries, the Jersey Devil was spotted sporadically throughout the Pine Barrens region, frightening local residents and any of those brave enough to traverse the vast, undeveloped expanses of New Jersey's southern reaches. Unearthly wails were often reported emanating from the dark forests and swampy bogs, and the slaughter of domesticated animals would invariably be attributed to, at some point, the Phantom of the Pines. Yo, the Jersey Devil has like an infinite amount of street names.
I'm noticing that.
Over years, the legend of the Leeds Devil grew, occasionally even overstepping the boundaries of its rural Pine Barrens haunt to terrorize local towns and cities, and on occasion, members of the French aristocracy.
For me, this feels more like, instead of being an actual Jersey Devil or something like that, it's like a big cat, especially the wailing, because we've known here in Florida, bobcats can mimic the cries of, mountain lions, can mimic the cries of someone shouting for help. So when they wail, it sounds like a creature or a human asking for help.
Oh, like my buddy in Georgia that was mimicking my friend's voice. Fantastic. Yep. We're going to start with Joseph Bonaparte, who was at one time the King of Spain and, more importantly, the brother of Napoleon. That Napoleon Bonaparte. Yeah. So unsuccessful in defending Spain against England during the Peninsular Wars, he was forced to abdicate his throne in 1813. And following his brother's defeat, he went into exile into America.
Why are we catching all the exiles? First it was we haven't spoken about that Ottoman prince.
The one in New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans, I think, is a 2 or 3-parter.
Yeah, it is gonna be.
And it's because Australia didn't exist yet.
Yeah. We're catching all the exiles right now.
We're catching all these literal strays. So yeah, Joseph purchased 800 acres at Bordentown, New Jersey. I did a Ren Fair there once.
Oh, how'd it go?
Pretty well. I think we did some of our last shows in Jersey there.
Oh, nice.
Because it was between the 2 great seaports of New York and Philadelphia. Look at that. Look at him throwing his ring into North and South Jersey delineation. From this place, he could at least obtain the latest news from France and Spain. As befitting royalty, even the dethroned sort, Joseph built himself a lovely mansion with beautiful landscaped grounds and plenty of parkland. Joseph Bonaparte entertained many of the great men of his day, including John Adams, the Marquis of Lafayette, and Daniel Webster. He led a very glamorous social life, throwing marvelous parties with mountains of food and many guests. The Americans were very impressed with him. He had a certain, as the French would say, je ne sais quoi. One snowy afternoon, the ex-king of Spain was hunting alone in the woods near his house when he spotted some strange tracks on the ground. They looked like the tracks of a two-footed donkey. Bonaparte noticed that one foot was slightly larger than the other. The tracks ended abruptly as if the creature had flown away. He stared at the tracks for a long moment, trying to figure out what the strange animal might be. At that moment, Bonaparte heard a strange hissing noise. Turning, he found himself face to face with a large winged creature with a horse-like head and bird-like legs. Astonished and frightened, he froze and stared at the beast, forgetting that he was carrying a rifle. Happens to the best of us. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then the creature hissed at him, beat its wings, and flew away.
Here's my confusion. The foot tracks that the footprints he's tracking are goat feet shaped, hoof shaped.
Supuestamente, yes.
And then the creature in front of him has bird feet. So that means that it can still shift or transform its form?
Well, I think by, bird feet, I think he means that, the knees are bending backwards, like with flamingos.
And like ostriches. Got it.
Or like Moxie in Hell of a Boss. When he reported the incident to a friend later that day, Bonaparte was told that he had just seen the famous Jersey Devil, who had haunted the Pine Barrens ever since he was born in Mother Leeds one dark and stormy night in 1735. See, it is literally the 1800s, and that legend is almost a century, and people, it's fascinating to see how even then, that legend was a popular folk legend and how it's persisted to this day.
Yeah, it's not leaving.
No, he lives there now. Bonaparte was impressed by the story of the Jersey Devil and thereafter kept the lookout of the fabulous creature whenever he went hunting. Once things settled down in Europe, Joseph Bonaparte returned there and was reunited with his wife in Italy. He never saw the Jersey Devil again. Hold up! He just left his wife in Italy there the whole time? Dude!
That must be a very loyal wife, because I have a feeling,
No, he was hooking up with people at them parties.
Yeah, I know he probably wasn't faithful.
Girl, I hope you got your bag and a few other D's. Nah. See, Jersey Devil, French Devil, harumph. But Joseph Bonaparte was not the only one in history who has seen the Jersey Devil. There have been many sightings throughout, and one of the most infamous ones were during the 1909 rampage, which occurred the week of January 16th through the 23rd in 1909. So early in that week, reports started emerging from all across the Delaware Valley that strange tracks were being found in the snow. The mysterious footprints went over and under fences, through fields and backyards, and across the rooftops of houses. They were even reported in the large cities of Camden and Philadelphia. Panic immediately began to spread, and posses formed in more than one town. Fear and intrigue grew even greater when it was reported that bloodhounds refused to follow the unidentified creature's trail in Hamilton. Schools closed or suffered low attendance throughout lower New Jersey and in Philadelphia. Mills in the Pine Barrens were forced to close when workers refused to leave their homes and travel through the woods to get to their jobs.
I would refuse to travel through the woods and go to my job too.
Yeah, boss, sorry, can't come in, devil. What? You heard me. Eyewitnesses spotted the beast in Camden and in Bristol, Pennsylvania, and in both cities police fired on it but did not manage to bring it down. A few days later, it reappeared in Camden, attacking a late-night meeting of a social club and then flying away. Earlier that day, it had appeared in Haddon Heights, terrorizing a trolley car full of passengers before flying away again. Witnesses claimed that it looked like a large flying kangaroo. Another trolley car full of people saw it in Burlington when it scurried across the tracks in front of their car. And
Burlington, the store?
So Burlington is a name of a town in New Jersey and Vermont as well.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure if the coat factory is from the Jersey or the Vermont one, but Burlington is it's a town name.
So in other words, Burlington should have the Jersey Devil merch.
I'm just saying, they're missing out. They could have had Buc-ee's before Buc-ee's. Yes, so another trolley car full of people saw it in Burlington when it scurried across the tracks in front of their car. In West Collingswood, it appeared on the roof of a house and was described as an ostrich-like creature. Firemen turned their hose on it, but it attacked them and then flew away. The entire week, people reported that their livestock, particularly their chickens, were being slaughtered. This was most widespread in the towns of Bridgeton and Millville. The marauding misanthrope reappeared later in the week in Camden, where a local woman found the beast attempting to eat her dog. She hit it with a broomstick and it flew away. And that is basically what was the last sighting in the rampage, which reads so much like a Florida man story.
You know what? It does read like a Florida man story.
Because if you just replace Jersey Devil, Florida man found attempting to eat dog.
Yep.
That could have easily been one of the headlines.
You are completely correct.
And so ends our dance with the Jersey Devil in the pale moonlight. At least for now. So, Jess, I'm not sure what impression I gave you of my home state. I'm curious and scared.
All you have to know is that I visited New Jersey once.
That is true. You have visited New Jersey, but wasn't it on the way to New York?
No. I flew to New York for a baptism, and then we couldn't find any hotels or motels
or Holiday Inns
in New York that were affordable. Ma'am.
Emma is being a cat.
But, sweetheart, are going to jump on top of the keyboard. I'm gonna die because you're gonna scratch me and the keyboard's gonna fall. Mm-hmm. And you're more expensive than the keyboard, but I need the keyboard to work.
Uh-huh. She is rubbing your finger. She cares not.
I know. I'm using this to distract her. And originally, the person that had invited us to New York wanted us to stay with their family.
Right.
And I don't think they were close to the Bronx.
Okay.
They lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. There were close to 15 of us.
Ay, chacho.
And we're like,
nah, dog.
Do that. I'm sorry. Like, we love y'all. We're happy to be here. We're happy that you wanted to host us.
And we want to keep loving you after this.
Exactly. So my dad packed us up. I was like, nah, we'll get a motel. And the cheapest one, they only had like 2 beds in that motel room. And I ended up sleeping on the floor with the other younger girl that was there. Mm-hmm. And our parents took the beds. And I, at that time, didn't really care because I'm like,
whatever.
Oh, it's like a sleepover.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And no rando came in and tried to break the door with the chain, right?
No rando came in and tried to break the door in the chain.
That only happens in the Reddit stories. Hopefully.
Yes, and I'm so happy that Redditor is safe and okay.
So I'm assuming that this motel was in Jersey?
It is in Jersey. It was right off, like, northern New Jersey, which was, like, mixed in with New York.
Uh-huh. I'm wondering if it was... So how close to the city was it?
I think it took us like 10 minutes.
So you may have been in Jersey City, Hoboken, Weehawken, Edgewater. Bayonne doesn't have a motel. Otherwise, they have Airbnbs now.
Ooh.
And a Starbucks. I knew my hometown was getting bougie when it got a Starbucks.
Hey.
That and an Orange Theory. I'm like, oh, honey, you're all grown up. You're a person now.
You're getting a community.
Ay, Dios mío. So yeah, that has been the whirlwind tour of New Jersey via one of its most famous and really infamous residents, the Jersey Devil.
And all we would like to say is, Martha, we are coming home.
Oh, are we back in the building again?
We may be back in the building in our next episode.
Oh boy.
With Sarasota.
Hey, let's keep it real.
Thank you for joining us on...
Where the ghoulies spill the tea. Sip, sip.
Thank you for staying after the show. Please enjoy your bloopers. And we'll be seeing you next Wednesday. This is the song I play while I wait to grab things.
Thank you for your patience. Your soundtrack is loading. Oh.
Here, all right.
So she went into labor, a few months later, on, of course, a stormy night. No longer mindful of the curse she had uttered previously regarding her unborn child. Her children and husband huddled together in one room of their Leeds Point home. Must be crazy having, a town named after your family and your house there, like the Me Point home.
Yep.
While local midwives gathered to deliver the baby in one room while the rest of the family was, waiting in another. By all accounts, the birth... do that whole thing again because you know what? I scrambled that like some of these eggs. Okay. The wailing infant began growing at an incredible rate. It sprouted horns from the top of its head, and talon-like claws tore through the tips of its fingers. Leathery bat-like wings unfurled from its black hair. Nope, he's not emo yet. Let me try that again.
When I was
a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. Jess, guess where My Chemical Romance is from?
New Jersey?
Newark, New Jersey. On the other side of the peninsula I grew up on. And coincidentally, them and that other event that I alluded to earlier are why we have Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey. But that's a story for another time.
There is such a huge discussion about that. We'll cover that
lore.
one day.
The Jersey lore is deep.
Yeah.
Before the early 1900s, the Jersey Devil was referred to, as I mentioned before, as the Leeds Devil, or the Devil of Leeds, either in connection with the local Leeds family or the... oh, that's a word. I'm going to do that word again. Yep, I think Mr. Lead, at least Daniel Lead of the Leeds family, would, I think he would like... It would be cool to have him as a guest, but we would have to consult the Luigi board for that one.
Yeah, I'm just like confused. Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if that popped up in the track.
I heard it, yeah.
Yeah, because that's what's up on the computer. That's definitely going on.
Getting popular.
I'm not sure if it got. Hey!
What up?
My friend Yancy, which you've met, we've gone kayaking with him.
Yes.
Finally passes RBT exam.
Hey, congratulations, Yancy.
He had to study that. That was his second time taking the test because English is not his first language and he finds it a little bit more difficult to read and speak it. Like, he'll speak a little bit more fluently than what he can read and write it.
Mm-hmm.
But for a second try, that's really fucking good.
Excelente. No, congratulations to Yancy.
Yes. Let me see if I can mute the notifications. 8 hours, just for now. I don't mean to mute you, Yancy. I love you, but we're recording and it's going to pop up.
We stand Yancy. We stand a studious king in this house. So, Joseph Bonaparte. Yes, from that Bonaparte family. He was the brother of Napoleon. And at the time... Okay, so gonna rewind. Sip my coffee while I'm at it. Mm-hmm. So, right. Members of the French aristocracy. Joseph Bonaparte, the brother of little-known guy, kind of short, bit megalomaniacal Napoleon. He was the king of Spain, and then I need to phrase this better.
Find your phrasing. Phrasing.
So the other notable instance of sightings is the 1909 rampage. So this occurred during the week of January 16th through the 23rd, 1909. Early in the week, reports started... Rampage! Right. So we come to the conclusion of our dance with the Jersey Devil. I'm going to say that line again because it was a nice line. I'm going to get it right.
What about the space race?
Ooh, You know what? There are multiple races.
Yeah.
Especially NASCAR, though.
Only left turns there, though. You can never be right.
Only wrong.
Yep.